Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.
Every time I start talking about boxing, a white man got full rockin' my gun out there.
It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Oh, this hard goddamn work being this good.
One more again, see what I take on your front side, I swear.
You ain't my daddy, are you?
There's gonna be consequences and repercussions.
What time is it? Game time proof.
Okay, welcome again to the Don't Be Blasé podcast. We're coming to you live from the House of Pain, otherwise known as Sat Fitness in the Adelaide CBD. I'm your host, Pete Caruana, joined as always by my man, Steve Burrows.
Hello there.
Before we get started, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Larry and Lad. Go see the boys in Regent Arcade, get yourself an awesome coffee and listen to some pretty sweet tunes. But for now, on with the show. Now, sorry for the technical difficulties last week. Turns out I'm a bit of a spaz when it comes to uploading things. The boys from the Auscast Network, our lovely pals there, thought they could entrust me in uploading my own podcast, and turns out I can't be trusted.
Mate, you dropped the ball like Draymond Green did in Game 5 today, mate.
Topical.
Topical? That's all I got. See you later, folks. I'm out of here.
By Wednesday, that's going to be old news, but as of right now, we're recording on Friday, that is very sharp tape.
Thank
Steve.
you.
So I'm glad we got a lot of feedback straight away. Spee, you fucked up the start, and we're listening into what you guys were talking about. We don't really talk about much.
No.
We're lucky that was one of our sort of tamer intros.
Yeah, I did hold my breath when my mate told me about it. I listened, I was like, oh, please, God.
Yeah, normally Steve is just reeling off racial epithets and all sorts of hate speech, but it was good. I'm glad we kept the queer bashing to a minimum this time, Steve. No, just throwing Steve under the bus here. Because Steve is now. I just get jealous because it's time for Steve's favorite, your favorite and mine. Here we come.
Here it is, Turd Freaks. The moment you've been waiting for. It's time for Steve's launcher.
Steve, update us on your launch app. We've been missing it. Everyone loves Steve's launch app.
Yeah, I got nothing.
Okay.
Here it is, Turd Freaks. The moment you've been waiting for. It's time for Steve's launcher.
So that's launch app for today. Turns out we didn't have a whole lot. Probably should have spoke about that in pre-production, but there's been nothing new. The piss patch is not a piss patch.
That's right, yeah. I'm going to mow it this weekend.
Oh, there we go. It's going to be nice and sunny this weekend in Adelaide, so hopefully the Santa Ana takes for that.
Yep.
But that's all we've got for that's all we've got for launch.
Yeah.
And that's us for this week, guys. No, then we're going to move on, and this is a big shock because something new that we're going to talk about. The NBA. I know we don't get into it much, but we need to stay on top of these things. We're just going to do a quick rundown of the All NBA teams came out today, and the defensive team yesterday, rookie teams and stuff. I'm just saying, Steve, are you seeing any problems with the team so far? We've got the first team, you've got James Harden, Damian Lillard, LeBron, KD, and Anthony Davis. The second team, you've got Giannis Antetokounmpo, Russell Westbrook, Joel Embiid, LaMarcus Aldridge, and DeMar DeRozan. Mm-hmm. And your third team, Steph, Victor Oladipo, Karl Anthony Towns, Jimmy Butler, the scumbag, and Paul George. How are you feeling about those ones?
Actually, I felt the first team, they nailed it. Yep. I'm happy with Lillard. Yep. I was surprised that Westbrook might not have been in it because he had, another statistical large year, although the team did jack.
Exactly.
But, and Lillard, I'm a big fan of Lillard. I was disappointed in their playoff run. But,
that was a playoff walk.
Really. Yeah, it was a
walk right out the door. It was almost like the Grandpa Simpson thing. Walks in, the brother puts the hat on the thing, sees Bart, picks the hat, walks straight out again.
I love that gif.
It's one of the best. We were actually discussing best gifs ever.
Yeah.
And that one, for me, is top 3.
Yeah.
The other one, the number one all time, is the one of the Lakers boys reacting to Shannon Brown's block.
Okay.
The Shannon Brown block that got called a foul, the one where he jumped up. It was like against the Hawks. It was like a blowout.
But what was the reaction thing?
It's the one of Kobe and Pau Gasol and Lamar Odom and Luke Walton, and then Kobe's covering his face. He's like, "Oh shit!" Which I'll put it up on the Facebook. It's a very, very funny gif.
I actually like that gif where LeBron cops it in the face. Have you seen that one? He's like at the 3-point line, bam in the face
in the pre-game. Yeah,
I like that one.
I'll give you that one. But But that's a good gift. But yeah, so you guys you're happy with the rest of the team?
I'm happy. I really, really like Lillard. I was just so disappointed about the playoffs, so it's a bit bitter in my mouth. But I'm happy with his first team. Second team, again, I think they nailed it. The third team, is there really a point for a third team? Really, a third team came out because probably Magic missed out when you're like, fuck, we got to get Magic somewhere, and they probably chucked him in a third team.
What's with the Magic bashing?
Well, it's probably the HIV year or something.
Oh.
just
to throw it out, this is Steve's second bashing of Magic with HIV this week. Just randomly, just gave me pot shots during the week.
Oh, it's just that you pick on my boy Mick all the time, so I just like to sort of, And that's all I got. I mean, what else? Magic seems like a really good dude, man. He seems like a really nice dude. What else can I say?
They say, like, the people that have met him and stuff on other podcasts I listen to, they're just like, when you talk to him, you actually feel like you're really special. Like, he makes you feel like you're the only person in the world that he's talking to. And you just he makes you feel amazing. They're like, this is the reason why, now that he's part of the management group, the Lakers, they're like, everyone's always said for the last few years, Lakers going to get this guy and Lakers going to get that guy. It's because of the Lakers, and they've picked up nobody. But they're like, now with Magic, like, everyone's going to be like, yeah, all right, Magic. Like,
yeah, exactly right.
I'll come play with you.
So that's why I think the third team. So, I mean, the fact Steph got in there purely because he's Steph.
Yeah.
Because he missed a bunch of games.
He did miss a lot of games this year, which is the reason why he fell to the third team. Yeah. Normally, he's like a lock for first or second.
You would expect him to be a lock. But, otherwise, I like that Oladipo's in there. He had a great year.
He deserved it, yeah.
And who else said? Cole Anthony Towns. Okay, yeah, he's a big guy. Yeah, I get it. Jimmy Butler. Yeah, look, I mean, Minnesota was a bit disappointing.
He is the definition of the NBA third team, Jimmy Butler. And he's an all-star. Yeah. He's not going to be first or second, but he's good. He's very good. I mean, admittedly, he probably wouldn't have been in there, say, if Kawhi Leonard was playing this year.
Sure, yeah, definitely.
But, he's a good player, and he deserves to be in
there. Is that PG-13 down there?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, see, I'm a bit annoyed about the whole OKC thing, so I'm a bit dark on PG.
Yeah, that's all right. Don't blame PG. It was Melo's fault. And did you see the tweet during the week on the Instagram?
Korver?
Yeah, someone put up a thing saying, who would have guessed in 2003 that Korver would end up having a better career than Melo? And Melo wrote in the comments, he's just like, fuck out of here. Like, I was like, anyone that writes FOH, like, that is the funniest. It's like, man, you're supposed to be bigger than that. But it's like, obviously one of those things, he sees a lot of shit during the day, and he's just like, nah, I know I've fallen off at Korver. Like, come on, man. Like, and you know I love bashing Melo, but even I'm going to be like, fuck out of here. Like, Korver, we know what Korver is. He's got one job, stand in the corner, shoot a three. That's all he does.
I'm so out of touch. I had to Google what FOH stood for. I was like, what the fuck is FOH stand for? Faux? Faux?
And he's just like walking around like, yeah, what Melo said, faux. Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. Kyle Korver's funny because that is his job.
Yep.
And he's done actually a pretty decent job this playoffs. But like Klay Thompson, Kyle Korver's got the one job. He sits in the corner, nails threes, LeBron gets him open, and he comes off screens, and it's sweet as. Klay Thompson, your boy Colin Cowherd the other day, and he put him in the top 10.
Yeah, that was a reach.
Wasn't that reach? I honestly think he put... And Klay Thompson's like Tom Lynch to me, man. He's fueled by...
Klay Thompson plays defense, though. You got to give him some credit.
Well, I don't even think he does. I think he played defense a few years ago.
All right.
And I think he's fallen off. I actually think he's a pretty lousy basketball player. Fantastic shooter.
Yeah.
Really good shooter. But he's a lousy basketball player, and he cannot create his own shot, as was witnessed again in Game 4 when he... What the fuck was that backup, fadeaway, missed by a 6-foot 3-point field goal he attempted to try to get... Oh, it was dreadful. I can't even spit my words out. Dreadful.
Mugged driving into the lane. He got bear hugged by Ariza.
Yeah, but then he turned away.
The thing I want to bring up, if you want to bring that one up...
Oh, yeah, let's bring it up.
This is where I'm going to defend my boy LeBron.
Yeah.
Is, okay, so... Every time LeBron makes like I said, in the finals last year, he drives in, the defense claps on him, he kicks it to a wide open Korver, who misses the shot, and they lose.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, everyone's like, LeBron's not strong enough to take the last shot.
Right.
Kevin Durant
passed
the ball to Klay Thompson in the corner, getting mugged by Ariza, who's probably their best on-ball defender.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that?
Well, I think because he kind of got trapped a little bit himself.
No,
didn't
he just lost his confidence because he's missed a couple of shots.
Yeah, you reckon?
And the thing is, they don't really have a guy that's a knockdown. Like, because I saw a stat today on Twitter. Steph with game-winning shots with less than 24 seconds on in the game. He's something like 1 for 8 or something all
really?
time. Yeah, he's a terrible clutch shooter. He hit that big one against OKC in the regular season, but in the playoffs, he's never hit one. He always misses.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah.
It's usually because they're up by 30, I think.
I know.
With
the close games,
yeah.
Imagine you remember Game 7 with the LeBron block game, he had 2 or 3 shots to close that game out and miss. I mean, immediately everyone missed. No one scored for the last 3 minutes except for Kyrie.
Yeah.
But he's apparently not that good.
Oh, wow.
If you look at the stats, he's not that good clutch with that sort of thing.
Did you see when Kevin Durant said something about when they were talking about Steph's been down on his shots? He goes, don't worry. He's the best shooter of all time.
Yeah.
He'll be right. And all the I think it was the Reggie fans and the Ray Allen fans got all upset. It's amazing how as soon as you make a statement these days,
everyone comes out of the woodwork.
Everyone's on it, man.
I was just saying, I was saying to friends today, Steph's the only, other than Reggie Miller, Steph's the only guy that if he throws up a off balance and just basically chucks it at the rim from 3, I still think it's going in.
Oh, shit.
Reggie Miller was the same. No matter where, if Reggie got half an inch of space and just threw up, he was pushing it at the ring. Yeah. He just threw it up. You're always oh, it's going to go in. I thought it was going to go in more than I thought it wasn't. As much as I love LeBron, if he's got an open 3 or even just any sort of contested shot, I'm always ugh, bad shot. That's a bad shot choice. And so when they do go in, it's always hey, LeBron. Because he doesn't have that real pretty jump shot. He doesn't have the Ray Allen's got perfect shooting form. Kobe, Jordan, those guys had that real pretty release. Yeah. Reggie looked like he was chucking it.
Oh, yeah.
Steph looks like he's chucking it, but they always went in, so you kind of went, you'll accept it. But, he doesn't have a real classically beautiful shot.
No. And although, having said that, he's been on this playoffs. However, what do you think about Game 5 of LeBron? I'm just curious because... to
be honest with you?
Yeah.
His age is catching up to him. It's not even I'm not making an excuse. Yeah. It's just that, Father Time is undefeated, and he looked knackered. He just looked... I mean, admittedly, it's going to be one of those ones where I think it happened in Game 1. Everyone's LeBron's tired. And then he came Game 3 and just dominates. And you're just I think it's now he's okay, we're going to lose this road game because the other boys are shit. I'll win Game 6, and then I'll wheel myself through Game 7. So I can't see him losing a Game 7. But Game 5, I'll be honest with you, I was looking at it going, oh, damn. He looked pretty tired.
He looked in trouble. And your boy Colin Cowherd again. Would that dude just let shit go, man?
I don't listen to the show anymore.
Admittedly,
I listened to First Things First, which has Chris Carter and Nick Wright. Nick Wright may be a bigger fanboy of LeBron than Cowherd, if that's possible. And I'm a big Nick Wright fan, and I love LeBron, but his daily love letters to LeBron do kind of wear on you after a while.
It is. I just hate because what it is in particular Colin Cowherd. I know who Nick Wright is. I don't know much about him though, but Colin Cowherd, I hate that, and you do, I guess, when you argue. But he tells so many half truths. Yeah. And then he tells...
You gotta frame your argument.
Of course. I know, but it's rubbish. I know, but he's got a responsibility because people actually listen to him.
The people listen to us are 10 people that half of us are mates. And then they can come up to us at parties and go, I can't believe you said that, man.
But it's he's got a responsibility. And it bothers me that he says the stuff he does.
But in the same token... The show that's on before them, Undisputed, with Skip Bayless.
He's just bad.
Skip Bayless is the anti-Herd. Everything that Herd cheers for, LeBron, and says he's the best. He's the same with Michael Jordan. If you listen to Skip Bayless, Michael Jordan never missed a shot ever.
He was
100% from the field, stole every basketball. He won every game 100-0. Yeah. But apparently hit game winners all the time. It's just right. Jordan lost a few games too.
He was saying at one point, Jordan was 52 or something. He was 52 at the time. He goes, Jordan's getting down to 216. Do you know what that means? He's like, what? He's like, 216 was his playing weight.
He's not going to
He's coming back. He's going to come back.
And he's going to show up LeBron. Even after LeBron wins, Game 7 when LeBron had the block and, he had that great last 3 games to win the series, he was still Michael never went to a game 7. I was fuck, you're never going to give me props. As much as me and you sort of argue about that, I'll always still give Michael his props. And we
need to actually have another Michael versus LeBron because by the way, guys, me and Speed got into it
Yeah.
more and more as time
it
goes
gets
on.
aggressive. So we might have to do like a round 2. But for now, we're going to switch gears because I know we do get basketball heavy on the show. So we're going to switch it around to one of other Steve's loves, Donald Trump.
That's my love.
Yeah, he's your boy now.
He's my boy.
According to my mate Paddy, he reckons you are a low-key undercover Trump supporter.
It's amazing.
And I've never seen you wear that red hat you wear forwards. You always wear it backwards. I think it may be one of those "Make America Great Again" hats.
You would never know because it's on the back of my head.
Exactly.
That's
So,
right.
and I don't walk behind you. So,
No.
So tell us, Steve. Tell us about your man Trump.
Oh, it is amazing. It's because everyone hates Trump so much that just the one time I go, you know, he might not be as bad as you think. He's all of a sudden, I'm
You
like,
love him.
Yeah.
You love him.
You're racist, Steve.
You hate him.
Exactly. Yeah. So the whole thing that happened where he's basically called off the summit.
Well, you basically handed in the Nobel Peace Prize for being the greatest negotiator of all time.
Yeah, but if you listen to, and I'm not going into bat for him, but if you listen to the press conference and the other stuff around it, because I know the headlines say he called it off, and for Trump haters, they'd be like, I told you. Yeah. There's a lot more to it than him just saying, I don't want to meet him. You know, North Korea are not being very nice about it. No. They called the vice president like a dummy politician or some shit. I can't remember the words, but it was all like he's a phony.
Yeah.
You know, and if you know...
Oh, yeah, and you can't call it a phony.
Oh, you can't.
If Seinfeld taught us anything. That Michael Jordan, he's so phony.
Oh, Michael Jordan's the best. And then the coat. But if Seinfeld, how many times did he come up in Seinfeld? Because remember they did a couple of other episodes. He would always come up.
He came up as much as Trump comes up in hip hop.
Yeah, that's right. So anyway, I think it's interesting. I think you know, and he's still trying to be diplomatic as much as Trump can be. He's like, well, you know, I want the North Korean people to be in peace and the South Korean people in peace, but shit, you know, things have happened. So yeah, I think it is interesting.
It's two people that are like highly stubborn.
Yeah.
That just always want things on their terms. See, like Trump doesn't like I said, I read his book. I've got one of his books. His thing, he goes, people say to a good negotiation, both people walk away happy.
Yeah.
He goes, nah, fuck that. He goes, good negotiation is you win, they lose. It's like, whoa, righto, mate. You know, like there was a couple of things in the book that made me laugh. Like, there's like, you start to feel like, you know, you're like, his whole thing is like, if you had a choice, you know, there's like a questionnaire at the start of the book. Would you rather have, like, as an annual income, 40 to 60,000, 60,000 to 80,000, or to 100,000, 100,000 to 100, so 500,000, 500,000 to 5 million.
Right.
He goes, tick a box. And he goes, if that was me, I'd be like, nah, scratch it all, 10 million. And he's like, and you kind of go, yeah, all right, like, I get it, set your goals high.
Yeah.
You know, don't ever be complacent. It makes sense. And so you kind of like, sometimes you read in the book and you kind of go, there's some bits in here. There's always nuggets that you can take that work. And then there's a whole chapter on if anyone wrongs you, fucking get revenge. It's like, whoa, what happened to being the bigger man? So I think this is the issue with these two is Trump wanted to be seen as the hero starting the peace talks.
Yeah.
I think Kim Jong realizes that and goes, nah, fuck you. No, we're not doing it on your terms because you'll turn around and go, yeah, see, I did all this and fucking I'm the best and blah, blah, blah. And he's just going to be like, nah, fuck you. I want it on my terms. And then obviously Trump would have balked at that and they would have balked at that. And it's just like, bleh. You've just got two fucking fat, stubborn, pig-headed idiots they couldn't even like decide what they wanted to order for dinner together. You know,
yeah,
like, they're that
right.
kind of guy.
Do you see Trump also sort of like being a good guy he is? He what's the term called when you sort of like you overturn like an old
the
heavyweight boxer?
Yeah, Jack Johnson. Yeah.
What's the term called, man?
Yeah,
I should have researched this.
We probably should research.
Yeah.
Like I said, once again, we could stop and Google, but we don't do that shit here.
We're too stubborn and big-headed.
We are. We're too fat, too stubborn, too big-headed. And facts don't matter.
That's right.
I know what you're talking about because Stallone put up pictures of it today on his Instagram because I
Yeah.
love Sylvester Stallone because he's the greatest action star of all time.
Isn't it cool how all of his films are coming out? Like Rambo 2 was in 85.
Yeah.
What's that one? Cobra 86 all come out recently.
Yeah, they're showing the clips from what's it called? Pardon. He's getting the Pardon.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Pardon. Yeah, whatever the term is. But anyway, so he did that for the boxer. He's a good guy.
But then he also, by the same token, the NFL came out with their new laws.
So tell me, what is that law?
Okay, so they wanted to stop the players kneeling during the national anthem. So the players, like starting with Colin Kaepernick and like Eric Reid and a few of the 49ers, and it started spreading throughout the league. Players started kneeling for the national anthem, just as a way of, you know, it's their peaceful protest, like passive protest, to the way that, it started when, all these sort of unarmed black guys are getting killed by cops. Pretty reasonable thing to fucking protest. I mean, you saw that, even that NBA player, Sterling Brown.
I didn't watch the video. Was it pretty bad? I just read the article.
He is double parked to go into a pharmacy, comes out, gets, sort of harassed by the police for it. Rather than just give him a ticket and fuck off, they beat him up and tased him over a parking ticket.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's a simple thing. That's one of the things they discussed this morning on First Things First, because Nick Wright is white, but his wife is black, so his son is half. He goes, I've never thought, because my dad never spoke to me about it, he's never dad, that you have to tell your son, if he's black, how to handle talking to the police.
Yeah.
Like Chris Carter's Chris Carter's black, and he said, I've had to teach my kids, my boys, how to handle speaking to the police.
Yeah.
Just because you're black. That is ridiculous. So the guys did the peaceful protest. They just took a knee during the anthem, or raised a fist, or linked arms to show solidarity. That was what they did. Now, Trump came out last year and was just like, don't you think that, these pieces of shit should be out there, like sons of bitches is what he called them. Sons of bitches. Don't you wish one of those owners would tell that son of a bitch that he's fired, for kneeling? So obviously the next week, everyone knelt. And the NFL copped a lot of flack for it, because the vast majority of the NFL fans is sort of your southern, sort of American fans, very patriotic. This is my land, get off my country. And so they see that as, you're disrespecting the flag and disrespecting the anthem and disrespecting the military. Because the reason why they make such a big song and dance about the American national anthem at the NFL is because the US military pays the NFL to make them do that.
Right.
So
okay.
it's only been since, I think it's 2005 or something, they've actually been doing it.
Okay.
So it's paid patriotism.
Yeah.
It's forced patriotism, which is ridiculous. Okay.
Well, it's kind of like a sponsorship, I guess, when you think
but the thing
about
is,
it. I mean, that they want to push their
agenda.
Products,
and
they're paying to do it.
Yeah, and they've always sold America, football and American.
It's all American.
And it's our military and our veterans. And it's the whole thing gets spun into, these guys are disrespecting the flag.
That's
they're not disrespecting the flag. They're peaceful protesting about the inequities in society, but they can't see that. They just go, someone just goes, they're disrespecting the anthem. It's they're not. You're missing the argument.
Yeah.
They're not kneeling, and they're like, but they're at work and you can't protest at work. It's no, they're paid to play the fucking game.
Yeah.
What they do before the game is on them. And the third thing is they're losing sponsors, they're losing money. So the NFL came out with a new rule,
which is,
if someone kneels or doesn't stand at attention like they do with the NBA. The NBA has that rule
where
right. Everyone has to be on court and stand in a dignified position because of good old Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf, who sat down a few games.
Right.
Remember, it's Chris Jackson.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. That's right.
Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. Yep.
Yeah.
So he was sitting because he's a Muslim and he didn't want to stand for the anthem.
Right.
And then they instituted the rule, so he always stood with his Muslim pose and stuff like that. And
right.
But he still did it. He still, he complied with what the wishes were. But same with all the rest of the NBA guys now. It's in their collective bargaining agreement.
Right.
They have to do it. Now with the NFL, they never had to do it. It was never forced. Now all of a sudden it's forced, and they've now got the rule where if anyone kneels, they can institute a penalty or against the team, like a 15-yard penalty
on the field.
Yeah,
okay, right.
And fine the team and the player.
Yeah, okay.
But they put a caveat in there: if someone doesn't want to take part in the anthem, they can stay in the locker room.
Oh, okay.
So you're kind of thinking, all right, well, they're kind of meeting them halfway.
Yeah.
And obviously they've done it to appease guys like Trump, who
Sure.
was very vocal about how bad the anthem protests were and those sons of bitches and stuff. Yeah.
Right.
So they thought they'd throw that in there.
Okay.
Trump comes out and goes, no, it's bullshit. Everyone should have to come out of the locker room and stand there. It's like, oh, for fuck's sake. He can't accept compromise.
Yeah.
This is why 99% of the people think he's a fuckhead, other than you, Steve. You number one fanboy, Make America Great Again, had over here. That's the reason why I'm just I get he does. I'm not going to say he doesn't do good things. He's probably done some good things in his life. He's done some bad things. But it's that sort of mentality of you're always going to create us versus them if you're always trying to win everything.
But he's not a politician, man.
No, he's not.
That's a problem, man.
But the thing is, he's echoing the parts of of the world, basically, that are very much like, I want mine and you fuck off. You know what I mean? Like that's like, okay, so maybe I was raised a little bit lefty. Like I said, I've never understood racism. I've never understood sexism. I've never understood homophobia and stuff like that. I just don't understand it. You know, people are people. You know, like if I don't like someone, it's because they're a prick. You know, because they've treated me poorly. Right. I'm not one of those people that's going to go, well, that guy treated that guy badly, so I don't like him. I'm like, well, you know, not everyone's designed for everyone. You know, like I rub some people the wrong way. Big shock here. I know. Everyone. Usually, I'm EFG, everyone's favorite guy. But you know, there's horses, like different people for different scenarios. But I always judge people by their character, not so by, you know, their financials or their skin color or, you know, their sexual preference.
You call me the pause all the time.
Yeah, but I'm still friends with you.
Oh, okay.
This is part of my my probation, community service. That's the reason why we do this podcast, guys. I'm trying to get off parole. I'll tell my I got arrested in Greece story one day. But yeah, no, I don't like that he's stirring up those people that, you know, the people that say that, oh, I'm not racist, I hate everyone equally. Fuck off. You know, and like that, those sorts of people do my head in. It's like, mate, you shouldn't hate anyone for any other reason than their character. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, yeah, it's gone a bit off topic, it's gone a bit deep, but that's just the way I feel about it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Trump number one. I'm gonna say to that. Who said I'm a fan?
Huh?
Who's the guy who said I'm a...
one of my best mates, Paddy. Oh, Paddy.
Paddy?
Yeah.
Paddy.
You'd love him because Paddy's a big Liverpool man.
Okay.
Talking
about Liverpool, we got a massive game coming up, by the way.
We do. It's Sunday morning. Yeah. Are you going to get up and watch it?
Sure I am, man. Yeah, are you going to watch it?
I might actually do it because last time I watched a Liverpool final.
Yeah.
Well, I watched it with my brother.
Yeah.
We went and watched the FA Cup against West Ham.
Okay, yep.
The infamous Steven Gerrard kicking.
Yeah.
And this is a good story. Me and my brother my brother's a big Liverpool fan. He's like you, like Paddy. So I wore a Liverpool jersey. We're sitting at the Kubzau house.
Yep.
Watching the game, and for some reason, I didn't realise there was that many fucking West Ham fans in Adelaide. But it turns out there's a lot of West Ham fans in Adelaide. And they're all at the bloody Kubzau house. It's like me and my brother against everyone.
Yeah.
And so they're down, 2-1? And then they went down 3-1. It was like, and then Gerrard scores, and they're 3-2. And there's like 90 seconds to go, and I think they had a shot and missed. It was like, so I've gone to the bar to get a drink for me and my brother, like, you know, just drown the sorrows.
Defeated.
And so as we turn around, I turn around from the bar, I go to hand him his drink, and Gerrard hits that cracker from outside the book. And I've read Gerrard's book, and he goes, it was because I was exhausted. Otherwise, I would have normally taken a dribble. And he goes, but I just thought, fuck it, let's have a crack. And he sticks it from, 65? So I mean,
65.
I just drilled, like, basically he's in the his own penalty box. He just drills it, top corner, and I've just gone, yes, and thrown both drinks up in the air and spilled them over the floor and was like, don't even care, straight to the bar, ordered another round of drinks. And then they ended up winning. Was that on penalties?
Well, and I was going to say, because, I mean, we've obviously had some really good results like that, obviously against AC Milan and stuff like that. We had a bad one in 2000, 2 years later. Yep. I think you bought me the DVD.
I did.
Road to Istanbul.
Yeah.
But I was going to ask...
I'm a good friend.
You're a good friend. That was, you had a good moment then. But I was going to ask you, obviously Champions League, huge.
Yeah.
It's against Real Madrid. So I think Liverpool and Real Madrid probably are the two most winningest teams in the European Cup. I think. I'm pretty sure it is. I think Real Madrid's won like 11 or something, and Liverpool's won 5, I think, or something like that. Anyway, so it's a big thing. I was going to ask you, though, how much would you pay to go and see...
Like a sporting event?
I mean, the Champions League final particularly. Generally speaking.
Generally speaking, you got to have a bit of a budget. But for things like your Champions League final, like I said, when I was in Germany, I went to see Bayern Munich versus... Borussia Dortmund.
Okay, big game.
Big game.
What are they worth?
Stuff like that. I don't know, Mum bought it.
Good on you, Mum.
Thanks, Mum. Although Mum did buy us tickets to sit in the Dortmund section. So 48,000 people at Allianz Arena, and as we're walking, I've just gone out during the day and bought 2 Bayern scarves. I've got a blue one, I've got a red one, and I've got my hot dog and my beer, and I'm walking up to my seat, and the security guard stops me and goes, brr, 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 in German. I went, sorry, what'd you say? And he goes, you have to hide your scarf. I said, why is that? He goes, you're sitting in the Dortmund section. The whole arena is like this big square, and the one corner, and we walk up the stairs, and it's just black and yellow everything. It's the Dortmund fans, and they're all singing, and they're all like, it's like almost like that record record scratch. Yeah, everyone's like looking at me, and as we're walking up the stairs, I'm just like, I'm from Australia. I didn't know. I just come to watch a game. And they're all like laughing. And then like we get to our seats.
He would kill you, motherfucker.
We get to our seats and then the guy was like, oh, you're very brave, my friend. I'm just like, I didn't know. Luckily, the game was 1-1.
Yeah.
Everyone went home happy.
Nice.
But yeah, no, like, I know those tickets weren't cheap. When we went to the baseball in the States, big Giants fan, we went to 2 games. Once again, thanks, Mum.
Yeah.
Those tickets weren't cheap. But there's sorts of things like if I went to an NBA game, an NFL game, you know, those sorts of one-offs that I'm not going to be able to see regularly, it's a pretty much open budget.
Yeah.
You know, and like you're going around $250, $300. I'll be quite happy to pay that to go to one of those because that's like a big event game.
Yep.
Like a Champions League final, or even like if you could get tickets to any sort of, even a group stage World Cup game.
Yeah.
I'm blowing the budget out. $500, no sweat.
Yep.
Like, because that's an event. That's it's a moment. Now, if we're talking like local league stuff,
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, let's throw the local league.
This is going to be my knock on the A-League. The reason why I've sort of fallen out of love with soccer and I don't watch a lot because I don't go to soccer anymore. I used to be a big United fan. I'd go to a lot of games when the tickets were $20.
Yeah.
Now, my mate Andy will argue that I've never paid $20 for a game of ticket ever. For some reason, I just happened to get looked after every time I went to Adelaide United games.
Right.
Like, we'd be literally walking up with no tickets, about to walk into the ticket line, and someone would go, hey, have you got tickets, man? I'm like, no. And he's like, oh, take these. Like, I would just get complimentary tickets,
wow.
or like people would come up to me and go, like the last time we went to a game, we were walking up, and as I'm like, he's like, oh, so shit, you didn't get your tickets. And I'm like, him and Shags went into the line to buy tickets, and as they walked into the line, a guy stopped me. He goes, have you got tickets? I went, no. He goes, oh, I've got these. I can give you 2 for $20. I'm like, oh, thanks, man.
Bingo.
And I bought those 2, and he comes out and he just goes, oh, you fucking cunt. He was so mad that I scored the tickets, like right at the last minute. It was like the Steven Gerrard goal of tickets.
Yeah, beautiful.
Like, just got but they're $35 now.
Dude.
Now, look at that, $35, not a huge amount. Like, that's what you're paying for an AFL game, but an AFL game is 3 hours.
Yeah.
You know, and it's guaranteed entertainment. Let's be honest, A-League, not the highest quality football. So I'm not paying $35 for 90 minutes of substandard soccer. Like normally we used to go, it was $20, you'd have a few drinks. After a couple of drinks, it's a lot more fun.
Yeah.
I'm not paying $35 and then paying $10 a drink. And, you know, and like it's Adelaide oval prices at Highmarsh Stadium.
And then, of course, you're probably not going to go next week because you're like, oh, I can't spend another $100 because I spent last week.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing about the A-League in general. Remember when they rebranded?
Yes.
Nash, they had the NSL, and let's face it, it was pretty shambles.
It was a shambles. And the best thing they did was when they did the rebrand, they took a year off.
That's right.
And they came back and took away the ethnic teams.
They did, that's right.
That was their thing. They're like, nope, we're not going to have, you know, the Serbs versus the Greeks versus the blah, blah, blah. They're going to make sure that there's teams representing the towns and the cities, and everyone has to play along because we're not having fights.
Exactly, because there was obviously major issues. Obviously, in Adelaide, we had
West Adelaide and
Adelaide City, which was Juventus and Hellas from memory.
Yeah.
But anyway, what they did do is they went out and got Dwight York, and they subsidised, I think it was Sydney, and they paid him, you know, a marquee player, and it was really good. And they branded
Adelaide United had Romario.
We did.
For 4 games.
We did have Mario, that's right. But they did do other things like Del Piero or something like that.
Good.
Robbie Fowler came down, but that wasn't... They gave him to a shitty team, or Central Coast or something like that. Yeah. And, you know, who the fuck's watching up there? But this is my gripe with the A-League, is that Foxtel jumped on board, and it's great to support local soccer. But the thing is, because you have $35 tickets, no one fucking goes.
Yeah. It's a terrible TV product.
It's a terrible. So when you see the empty stands, no one's there. And when you see a packed stadium, you go, hey, love, do you want to go to the soccer game next? Because it looks like it's fun. Yeah. But when there's no one in there, and, you know, the wrestling does it, and TV shows, I remember when we went to Jay Leno, they push you into certain areas to make sure it looks packed. Wrestling does it as well. They... You know, if it's only half sold, most of the people are sitting on the opposite side of the
hard camera. Yeah.
That's right, because they want it to, and they will only do the one angle because they want it to look packed. The A-League, what they need to do, especially for these big, giant rivals, Melbourne versus Sydney, it's going to be huge in front of 8,000 people. Why don't they drop the tickets down to $10?
Yeah.
Pack out the stadium. Build a culture. Because all it was come to see Dwight York. Once he left, everyone was like,
I don't really care about this
some
team,
of the casuals fell off. All of a sudden they go, fuck, casuals falling off, we need to charge more money. And it's kind of gone down. Yeah. And then Foxtel jumped on, we broadcast all the games. Another reason not to go. In my opinion, and this goes with a lot of things, is that why don't they just drop it down fucking $5, man. Pack out a 60,000 stadium.
Dude, follow the BBL model.
Oh, the cricket.
Yeah, the
Yes.
Big Bash League. It's $20 for an adult.
Right.
$5 for kids.
Oh,
That's
wow,
the big. That's the big
perfect.
selling point.
Yeah.
And that's the reason. I mean, and literally every city gets 4 home games.
Yeah.
Obviously, you got a longer season. You need more money. You need more revenue. But the key is the $5 kids tickets is fucking paramount. You want to get kids into the game.
Yeah.
You want to get people there. Like you take one adult. Okay, even if the one adult's paying $35, like you said, you got 2 kids.
Yep.
If you had $35 for you, $5 each for the kids, you'd probably go, yeah, that's pretty fair.
Yeah.
You know, like you'd go.
You equal it out. You got 45 45's free.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
not too bad.
It's not too bad. It's
Yeah.
$15 a head.
That's right.
That's decent.
Yeah.
But the problem is, that I think it's still like $20 for kids as well. It's like,
Yeah.
fuck, who's taking their kids
That's
today?
right.
The kids probably not even watching the game.
No.
Like, oh, it's brutal.
And if you get kids in the door, they have to come in with a parent. And
Yeah.
the parent's going to go get a beer.
Yeah.
And then the kid's going to go, Dad, can I get a t-shirt?
Dad, can I have a
Fuck.
beer?
And so, yeah, that's the thing. So I think it actually creates more of an economic thing, man, like where people are going to be like, okay, you take a loss at the door.
Yeah.
But
You'll make it elsewhere. Yeah.
elsewhere.
They-
And I'm surprised A-League just
Well,
continues to broadcast these empty stadiums.
The NBL did well with that model because, I mean, obviously the NBL always thrives if the NBA is strong, the
Yeah.
NBL is strong. It's
That's
always
right.
been that way.
Yeah.
The NBL did it a couple of years ago. They did, although they did put off some people because they did do halfway through the season. I think it was like for the last 5 home games, $10 tickets,
Okay.
which was good to fill out those things. But then, like, I mean, my mate Andy had a membership. He's like, and they said at the end of the year, oh, I didn't buy a membership. He's like, why the fuck would I buy a membership if you're going to give away $10 tickets?
Yeah,
You know, like
yeah.
I can just buy the $10 tickets and
Yeah.
everyone's happy.
Yeah.
But like I said, when the teams are going well, then you're going to fill out the stadiums. And like the thing is, yeah, they've created that good culture now in the NBL. Like, admittedly, when they first took over their rebrand, they're like, oh, we're going to close the league, rebrand it. I thought, you know, they're going to change the name, make it
Yeah.
something
Yeah,
Australian,
me too.
you know, even make it like the ABL or something,
Yeah,
make
yeah.
it different. Nope, they came back. We're the NBL now. It's like, oh, Jesus, you butchered that.
Did they
But
change their logo? I don't know.
they changed the logo.
Oh, did they? That's
But
good.
the the rebrand like kind of worked because the quality got better.
Yeah.
They changed the old rule, which was you can only have 2 imports in a team, made it
Yeah.
3.
Yep.
Okay, which, you know, obviously you want to push local talent, but to be honest with you, they expanded the team, like the league, too much, and there's really not that much high quality local talent. So by keeping it to, I think it's like 10 teams at the moment,
Yeah.
it keeps it there. Although they are expanding, I hear they're adding a second Melbourne team,
Yes.
but it's going to be tied into the footy clubs. They're going to
Yeah.
follow the mold that the European leagues
European,
do.
that's
Yeah,
right,
so like
yes.
Real Madrid has a basketball team.
That's right.
Barcelona has a basketball team, you
Yeah.
know, and like that works, and so it kind of, you get the money from the AFL flooding through the NBL. It's good. Like Andrew Demetrio, the former CEO of the AFL, is now working with the NBL.
Okay, right.
So it's going to be good, and you'll see more deals, and like it'll create greater atmosphere at basketball. And the basketball's great atmosphere anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and like admittedly, like also we're huge basketball fans, so obviously
Yeah.
that makes it easier. But the atmosphere in the stadium's a lot better. You know, and like with soccer, sometimes like the best part is when everyone's jumping around, you think a fight's going to kick off. You know, and like, whereas with basketball, it just tends to be exciting as it is. You know, and like there's a rivalry there, but it's never too angry.
Right.
You know, and like people get passionate, but they're never angry.
Yeah.
You know, it's not as territorial as soccer is. I don't know how soccer makes it so aggressive, but it just does. But, you know, to move off that,
Yeah, sure.
because we were discussing a ticket price, me and
Yeah.
my man Jared and James at work here, because we have a concert coming to town. Sound made me sound. We got a concert coming into town. All the young kids are going. It's one of those gigs. Kendrick Lamar, who neither of us put in our top 5 down alive, but he's a big hip hop star. And
How do
I'm
you
like,
remember that? Fuck, I know.
no,
Rain Man. Damn.
this is why I hate whenever you
Oh,
argue. Me and
man.
Steve argue about, and he's like, "Oh, I don't think you're right about that." It's like, fucking, I'm always right about that. Trust me, I would never argue a point unless I knew it. You know, Like,
Wow,
that's just who I am.
That's hilarious.
But Kendrick's coming to town, and I'm a big Kendrick fan. Not
Oh, shit.
huge. I listen to his music. Like
Yeah.
I've got Kendrick on the ASAP level. Like I love ASAP Rocky.
Okay.
I'll listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm not rushing out to go
Okay.
see him, but if he came to Adelaide, I might go check out ASAP. But same thing with Kendrick.
Decent price ticket. I'm
Yeah.
going to go check him out.
Yeah, $180.
Not too decent.
No,
Not
like
too
it's like,
decent about that.
like we were talking last week when you tried on a jacket. You're like, oh, this is a really nice jacket, $500. Well, it's not $500 nice, you know. And like,
Yeah, let's put that back on the
like
rack.
I was the same with Kendrick. I was like, oh, I like Kendrick. He's coming to Adelaide. I might go. $180. it's a bit out of my budget. You know, like there's other things I'd rather spend that money on.
Yeah.
Like, is there anyone left that you would spend? Because I've got a few artists that I would.
Yeah.
Is there anyone that you would go over $180?
Certainly not. $180. Imagine what I could do with $108. The loaves of bread.
Yeah.
The milk. You know.
All the money I could give to my kids. Yeah.
All the money, all the t-shirts, the $10 t-shirts.
Yeah.
There's
You
18
could
t-shirts.
you could throw away all the really yellow ones.
I want to throw all of them away.
And get some new fresh whiteys.
Yeah, I could.
You could get some new jocks, Steve, with no holes in them.
I could.
Imagine a world with holeless jocks.
Oh my god, I can't imagine it. It's just $108 is for one, because it's not just $108.
Yeah.
It is then and by the way, I've got a taxi back home,
Ooh.
and it's a $90 cab ride from town to
Yeah.
Virginia.
That's my cab to my house is?
Yeah.
$9.
$9. So is you know, there's taxi, there's the cost of the drinks.
Yeah.
There's the pre-drinks, there's the dinner. You know, it's I'm
I
not
love that
responsible.
Every event so far with you always like have to factor in the beers.
Dude, and then
It's like, yeah, we got to go to this. It's a church service. I'm gonna have some wine.
oh man, I remember when I went to Speed's Wrestling a few weeks ago. Went to the bar. I was like, I could get one beer, but that means I'd have to walk here again. So I would get 2 beers at a time.
Because it'd be weird that people think I'm just getting one beer because I'm not sitting by myself. Right?
Yeah, that's right. But so $108 ticket, Speed. That's I only give myself like an allowance every fortnight as it is. I mean, that would blow my allowance through the. So unless it's Slash and Axel coming back again. I don't imagine there'll be anyone I'd probably spend more than $108.
Well, I've got a little
Your
list.
list?
I've got a list
Oh,
of the 180. There's and they're mostly sort of hip hop artists,
okay.
and they're mostly in my my top 5.
Dead or alive?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hang on.
Kanye.
Whoa.
What?
Is it dead or alive? Because if it's
Oh,
dead,
well, yeah.
it has to be alive, right?
Yeah, it has to be alive.
Because if you know,
it probably would be my top 5 alive. Like there's
Okay.
four artists that I would pay that money for.
all right, let's hear it.
Kanye.
$180.
I'd pay $180 for Kanye.
You hate Kanye now.
I don't hate Kanye. I said
You said you hate Kanye.
I turned on him, but I said I'd still listen to the music.
Okay.
And I know, and because I've been to shows before,
yeah,
I know he puts on a good show.
Okay.
You know, I'm guaranteed a show. And whether even his bad shows are good. Like, I've been to one show where it was a fucking train wreck.
Yeah.
But I'm glad I was there. Because
Okay.
it's one of those things, it's either going to be the best show you've ever seen or it's going to be a car crash. And I enjoy a good car crash as much as I enjoy... Like, you don't want to go to a gig. It's like, how was it? It's all right. You want to be able to tell a story. It's like when I have clients come in. They're like, I went on a date on a weekend. I'm like, good or horrible? They're like, it was okay. I'm like, I don't care. Like, only tell me the
Stop
story.
down, give me 20.
Exactly.
Speaking of which, where's the burpees, man?
They come.
I showed you my 4 burpees on Facebook.
They're coming.
Check out my burpees on the Facebook, man. I put 4 of...
Four of the best?
I posted what I feel like after I post my 4 burpees.
That's right. We'll do it now. Like I've lost the one I filmed before, but I've done many a burpee. But I'll do it. And I've got my new NBL top. I'll put that on.
Oh, okay.
And we can film that. We
Right.
get a bit of publicity, you know, and they can maybe throw us some free tickets. NBL, anyone if you're listening? But yeah,
I don't think they're listening.
I don't think anyone's listening. But
Sitting on.
we got Kanye. We've got Frank Ocean. Now I love Frank Ocean. You screwing up your face because you've never heard of Frank Ocean?
No, I've heard of Frank Ocean.
Yes.
I'm not familiar with much of his music.
Okay. Well, he's very, very good. Very, very talented artist. More R&B, more softy, very soulful sort of music. Huge Frank Ocean fan. Not thuggish, ruggish. This guy actually has talent, and he's brought out 2 albums. But yeah, he has come to Australia a couple of times. But then, like, was going to come do Splendor, cancelled, and then he came and did a show, and then they booked some side shows for in Melbourne and Sydney.
Side shows, yes.
And
I don't think side shows command $180.
Booked an extra show in Melbourne on a Thursday night. The original show was a Friday night. Got halfway through his act, but he had like a throat problem and had to go off stage halfway through and then just cancel the rest of the tour. So he's never actually, like, he's one of those real reclusive artists. So it's like, I just need to fucking see him live, you know? Like, he's done very few live shows. So he's on my list.
Wow.
Yeah. Anderson .Paak.
Once again, I'm drawing another blank.
Because you're an old man, you're washed. Anderson .Paak's incredible. I have actually seen him and I've paid close to that to go see him. I had to pay for the girlfriend's ticket. That's
okay.
why it cost me a fortune.
Right.
But I wanted to see him that badly. It was worth it. I would go, if I could, that was at a festival, so I would go pay just to see him alone. I would pay that one.
Right.
And Chance the Rapper.
Oh, okay. Chance
You
the
know,
Rapper.
I like
Yeah, I know
Chance.
Chance, yeah.
Chance is in my top 5. I would probably pay that for Chance. Outside of that, the only one I may swing that for is like Aerosmith. because that's one of my bucket list bands. You know, like, 'cause I've ticked off my other bucket list bands of like Guns N' Roses and Rolling Stones. Aerosmith's another one of those old ones where I'm like, you might want to go pay $180 and never see him again.
Are we gonna go watch Def Leppard, Cheap Trick, Foreigner, any of these bands coming up?
I think Brett nailed it on the head. Pick one.
Pick one. Yes, pick one. Okay,
I don't think we're gonna listen to all of them.
No.
So I think we should discuss that. We might even do a live recording at the
that would be cool.
Steve's birthday bonanza. So apparently I've been promised an extravagant night.
An extravagant night. That's right. Yeah.
And we may have to discuss that. So we might even
that would be cool. Do a live
when
show,
everyone passes around the phone with the iTunes, and we're gonna pick a song each or the YouTube, whatever.
That's the one.
Yep. Well, whoever's winning in the night, Foreigner come on and we all jam to it, then we'll go Foreigner. Or but we'll go with that. Does that sound like a good plan?
It's only me and you and Brett.
That's right.
Who did? I can't imagine many of our other people jam into Foreigner. I want to know what love is. Maybe. I will see. Well, we'll give it a crack.
I want to know what love is, and I want you to show them.
All right.
That was terrible.
That was
so
bad.
I apologise.
I'm looking away very uncomfortably.
Well, on that shithouse note, we'll end today's show. For Speak Arowana, saying goodbye. For Steve Burrows.
See you later.
And we'll speak to you next week. Peace.
Love this podcast? Support it and sponsor today. Simply head to AuscastNetwork.com for details.